Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take to the skies by way of the Studio Series 86 Swoop, the latest in a line of Dinobots, perhaps the last line of Dinobots that anyone's going to need. We're going to see this guy compared to the Black Mamba version of the Power of the Prime Swoop, as well as the animated Swoop, because in the last couple of reviews we've looked at animated Grimlock and animated Swoop that was leading up to this guy. Too bad I don't have that snarl. I digress. We're also going to discuss kind of a well-known QC-ish issue with this guy, namely the left side of the chest, and a way that I sort of handle it that is kind of a fix. We'll talk about that when we come back after the review. But for now, this guy, 86 Swoop, he's going to be the focus of the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. I already said that we're going to compare this guy to a couple of different Swoop offerings. We're going to see him next to the rest of the 86 lads, and I'm going to talk about a way to sort of handle this left side when we come back. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And finally we round out the Studio Series 86 Dinobots with the last one, Swoop. And boy, oh boy, has this been a heck of a wild ride trying to get all of these. A lot of people encountered issues with Slag and Snarl being iffy in terms of finding them, especially Snarl. Grimlock is getting a reissue, so if you didn't get the 86 Grimlock, word is that he will get a reissue in 2025. Maybe the other ones. But finally, this guy is here, and I could not be happier to round out the set. How good is he? We're going to find out. Looks very much like Swoop there on the front. Looks like Swoop's bird head on the side. And again, the cartoon bird mode, I mean pterodactyl I guess it is, on this side. And yes, before people say it, pterodactyl's not a dinosaur. When this was made in the 80s, they were dinosaurs. I get now that they existed when dinosaurs did, and they're something else, blah, 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 blah. I'm still going to call him a Dinobot. On the back, here we have him with two swords, and we have him here with his alt mode, and of course his display base. Speaking of the display base, it looks like this. I feel like our boy is huge next to this display base, so taking him out of it, it is a nice scene though, all the same. We got a big old giganto sheet of instructions that honestly, I don't know if you really need them for this guy. He is fairly intuitive, but hey, it's not going to hurt to have him. And not for nothing, here we have Swoop next to another couple of Swoops, namely the animated, which we very, very recently looked at, and the Black Mamba iteration that I did some custom work on. It's about Voyager size. It has die cast in it. It's quite nice, I gotta say. But you can certainly see the homage of the other two to the 86. And I guess it only makes sense, and it's only fair that we do this. And woo! Here we have the entire quintet, and like, they look right. I gotta say, they look absolutely right. Not for nothing, you'll notice that I have a Fall of Cybertron sword for Grimlock here. Luckily, because of a number of upgrade kits that have been sent my way, and I'm very, very thankful to have them all, he has a brand new sword. His other one is around somewhere. He has the FOC. He comes with his own sword, and this big one in his hand is by rights Grimlock's sword, so I probably will give it to Grimlock. He now has a sword, and right down at the end, Sludge also now has a sword. I'm very, very, very thankful. I'll note this though, the Matrix Workshop set for Sludge comes with a chest filler for Dino Mode. Very recently, this peg broke right off. I have it glued back on, but yeah, I was waiting for that to break off, and it did. It doesn't affect anything, because it's by rights like a shield in his arm, and I can still do that. It's just, It's pinned in here, and I'm never ever going to be able to move this again, I don't imagine. Not without, not without breaking that off. So, c'est la vie. It still works, it's still functional. It's just, it's too bad that that peg broke off. I'm glad I was able to fix it, but it is certainly more delicate than it was. Anyway, that's everything. Let's look at Swoop himself. Okay. First things first, this guy only clocks in at 250 grams all in. Both swords, everything here, that is indeed small, very small for a leader class. Now, it is definitely the smallest of the other Dinobots. I have said with all of the other four that all of them fall in the range of 315 to 330 grams, right where a leader class should be. This is less than. I knew it was going to be less than. I thought it might be a Voyager, but honestly, you saw it there next to the Black Mamba, which is about Voyager. This is obviously more than Voyager, but again, it's not leader. It's too small to be leader. I've said this now for a little while, I'm going to say it again. They need a price point between Voyager and leader. That's where we're to. We need a price point between that things like this, or Siege Astro Train, or Dreadwing, or those kind of ones that get sold, Blitzwing, that get sold as leader class but aren't really leader class. They need their own class. That's what I'm starting to think. In terms of the coloration stuff for this guy, the black feet is correct. The gray legs with the black on the front of the shin, correct. The red on the side, correct. The lighter color legs with the gold going down and the gold claws, all correct. The blue torso, the red up here, the gold head, the Autobot logo, the silver face, the red head and fin, the entirely gray arms, all of it gray. The silver wings, these here, though we should have red right here on the front of this. The gold, all of that there, 9.9, honestly, 9.9 easily. Now, as I say that, let's note a couple of things here. One, this sword is fine in his hand. It's Grimlock, so I'm going to actually take that out. 9.9 is a good start, by the way. His sword can go here on the back in this peg hole, but it's not for nothing. If you got both swords and you want to leave both swords with him, I mean, you can put one there, you can put one on the other side, you can do what you like with it, right? So I'm going to lay both swords just aside there for now. He also has these, and they can go in any 5mm peg hole, and they're separate from these. They can take a blast effect, as I have been told. Haven't tried it, but that's what I've been told. He can hold it in his hand as a blaster if you want him to have more than just a sword, for sure. Let's do the articulation, I guess, is probably the next smartest thing for us to do, laying those swords aside for now. 9.9, that's where we're to, that's where we're started, that's a heck of a great score if you ask me. Yeah, articulation. We have a head here that goes left and right, looks up and can look well down, really because of transformation. The wings here, they can go back and forth and back and forth. I guess if you really wanted, you could open the wing out. I mean, if you really wanted, you could have the wing like open all the way out like that and tab it in. I'm not tabbing it in there now. And you can have his whole wing out if you want. Some people have said that they're a bit disappointed that you can't angle the wings up. I've also heard of a mod in here where you can, so I don't know. Taking that one out of it. The arms can go all the way out. Can go all the way around. Bicep swivel, elbow to 90 degrees. I'm sure there'll be a filler that will come there, as has been the case with really any of the other ones. Wrist rotation, which is very nice. We have a waist, which is nice. The head might hinder it slightly, but you're going to get what you need out of it, I do think. And if you wanted to lift the head up, you could probably get all the way around. The hips here go all the way out to the side. They go all the way forward. They go all the way back. Thigh swivel. We get a very deep knee because of transformation, really, but hey, I'm going to take it. The toes here of the Dino mode, they bend as well. If that's any use to you in robot mode, I can't imagine how it would be, but hey, you never know. The toes go up and down, the heel goes up and down, and we have an ankle tilt. Now, while all of that sure does seem good and seem great, And he should score really high, because there's part of me that wants to say right now, maybe if he had, you know, the up of the wing, maybe if he had individual fingers. And I would probably say, you know, 9.75. But we gotta note a couple of other things. One, there's a little butterfly in here. It's really part of transformation, I guess, to help with the wings, but there is a little backwards butterfly in here. Cool. So that's added, which is good. But the more you kind of fiddle this around, this and this have nowhere to tab in. The friction on this side is quite good. The friction on this side, not so much friction, man. It just comes out when you manipulate the wings and stuff. Say I was here like this, I wanted to move this arm, and I said, hey, I'm just gonna bend the wing back. Like, I need to hold this to do it. It's not a deal breaker, but like, I do wish that the chest had somewhere dedicated to tab in, or if you're gonna use friction, man, make sure that all of the friction is there. As such, 9.75 is gonna drop to about a 9, because this side is a nuisance. But still, a 9 and a 9.9, I mean, we're still looking at a solid 9.5, right? Let's do the transformation next. We're going to close that in, and we're going to close that in. We're going to open out a wing, and we're going to bring this down, and there's a little rectangular tab and a little rectangular slot, and we're going to slot that right in there. Same over here. A lot of people would probably say do this later, but I'm not. I'm doing it right now. Straighten it up on the double hinge that's here. Bring this down and around. That's the wings done. Now, of note, we have, I'm going to point this out now, we have a peg here that'll go into a peg hole here. We have a peg here, no, a peg hole here that this peg will go into. So the arms do, by rights, peg in 2 slots. I'm going to do that now. Do they always like to stay pegged in there? Not always. Not always. Okay. Then we bring the head forward and we bring that up. We're going to angle back both of those chest pieces so that we can get this up all the way. This piece here, that goes folded, down like that. Oh, by the way, with the head here, I didn't do it because I didn't need to, but by rights you're supposed to pull that out and then bring this up. And then when this closes down, it actually tabs into the head crest. My mistake, my mistake. So that head is up. Now we have to bring on hinges in here, the 2 sides of the body forward. That side's brought forward, and that side's brought forward, and there you go. We've got those. That came on tabbed, and that came on tabbed. There. And we can bring that head down like that now, if you are so inclined. Now, we can fold up a heel, and fold up a heel, and bring that back in here. And we're going to fold these legs up over. In the toes here, there's a rectangular slot that will go over this kind of rectangular tab, I guess, right here. Like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Hopefully, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Like that and like that, and boom, in the end. And I also brought the toes, I left the toes here forward on the knees, but boom, in the end, here you have him in his pterodactyl mode. Now you might say, hey, that's him standing up, dandy, great. By the way, not for nothing, but his mouth can open, and there is a thing in here for a blast effect. Let's say you want him in a flying pose. Well, then you put that head up, you put him down, and you put the little toes that are here on the knees, you angle those, although this one over here seems quite tight. Actually, this, oh man, that was tight. There, you would do that with them, right? Transformation, I think, is, this is the back view. I think the transformation is absolutely brilliant. I love it. He was getting a 9.5. I think the transformation is still a 9.5. He is a 9.5. He is excellent. Too small for full liter price as far as I'm concerned. But man, I'm so glad to have the Dinobots kind of sorted out. And not for nothing, but At the end of the day, and not for nothing, but let's be perfectly honest with ourselves, this is our money shot. Now, some people would put the 4 down and have him on a flight stand. I don't have any flight stands. I know nothing about them. I don't even know what one to get. It's just not a thing I know. If you have a flight stand, cool. Assuming he could take it, cool. But at the end of the day, this is our money shot, right? Because we have all 5 of the Dinobots. They look phenomenal. You know, as kind of parting thoughts, again, he's 9.5, right? So he's quite good. I think the best out of the 5 was Grimlock. Not only did he have the heft and whatnot and solidity, but his transformation is probably the easiest and smoothest while still being involved and pulling off both modes really successfully. I think that he's quickly followed by, I'll say Slag and Snarl, or Snarl and Slag, whichever order you kind of want to put them in. I think they're sort of interchangeable. A lot of people would slot Sludge in the last position because of the looseness of the like hips and knees. Mine doesn't really have that. So for me personally, Sludge is probably right after Grimlock. But I'm biased because Sludge is my boy. I think that the one that, I don't want to say is the worst out of it because that's not fair to say, but the one who I think I have the most issue with is actually Swoop. And the only reason I have any issue with Swoop, because I just scored him excellent, is because of how, especially the left side of his chest opens when trying to manipulate the arm. That's the only kind of all of these, in my experience with the molds, for me, that's really only about the only imperfection I can really kind of point out. I haven't had any yellowing issues or breakage issues. I do sincerely wish that his head and arms or legs, whatever, were also painted gold like everything else on all of these guys are. That said, this is splendid. It's the last set of Dinobots that yours truly is ever going to need. Make of that whatever you will, my friends. And here we are once again, and here he is. Man, oh man, do I love the 86 Dinobots. I didn't think I needed them in my life. I thought that the Black Mamba versions were good enough. I was happy with them. But man, these are so quintessentially perfect for a group of G1 Dinobots. I think that they're, I should say perfect for mainline collectors. I mean, there are MP ones and other gigantic ones, like MP and MP alike ones. There are core class ones and stuff, but for mainline, this is hard to beat, man. The coloration, perfect. The transformation, really quite intuitive for the most part. Dealing with the 2 sides of the chest is probably the worst aspect of Swoop. You know, the swords, the blasters, mostly right. What's not right, there are add-on kits to make right. Like, there's a lot here to like. And I think Swoop, though we had to wait because word is that there was a lot of design considerations going on with the wings and they kept going back and changing things, I think it was worth the wait. Now, let's talk about the QC thing before we get out of here, because he's excellent, the 86 Dinobots are excellent. I said in the review that this, neither side has really a locking point, and they kind of don't, but I don't think all of us have paid quite enough attention. Now, maybe you've seen this fix before, maybe you haven't, maybe it's new to you. If you've seen it before, cool. If you haven't, and this is kind of new for you right now, cool. You will notice that I just moved the wing, and the chest did not come untabbed. It did before when I would move the wing back. The arm here, I can go up and down, and now back and forward and all around. The chest did not come untabbed, and it's the left side on everyone's copy that I've seen come untabbed. So, I'm going to untab it, because here's the way to explain it. You're right to a degree. There isn't really a locking point per se, but there is a friction point. So there's no actual peg to lock in somewhere. But what there is a round circle there. And on the side of the, can I pull this out a bit? On the side of the dino head, way in here, there's a round circle on the jaw. It's where the pin goes in, actually. This circle on the chest should go over that circle on the jaw. And what most people do, myself included, is you take the 2 chest pieces and you close them in and you call it good. But you got to give this more of a squeeze than that. If I look down, straight down now, I can see that this chest is off a little bit from this one. And if I move this wing, this is what happens, as many people have encountered, myself included. You got this in, you move the arm, and it might move, it might not. So, what do I do to fix this? Here's what I do. I put my finger right here on the beak. I look down on the top, and I pick up the arms, and with my fingers, or my thumb and my forefinger on his armpits basically, I give another squeeze here. And when I give that squeeze, hold on to the front there, when I give that squeeze, what I should end up with, and sometimes I even put them down like this after and give it another final squeeze, what I should end up with is both shoulders very straight. In fact, I look at where the front and the back connect, because there's like a split line here, and that line should be perfectly straight going across and in line with the first indent on his crest. If you do that, guess what? Now I can move this. Oh no, it failed on me. Hold on. There we go. Now I can move. No, it failed on me again. That's the first time that fix has failed on me. Let me try it again. Hold on. Maybe I didn't quite have it in. I gotta push that in with my finger. I gotta push these out. And now, there. You know what? I thought that it was a fix. And not for nothing, it usually is, but I can't seem to get it now here on camera. Taking that back out of the way for a moment. Do I have it now? There, I think I got it now. Whew! Out, up, back, around, all the way. Not for nothing now, this wing, out. There we go. No, it's starting to come off again, so I guess it probably will still work its way off a little bit. But the point is, after you get this, man, I've wasted a lot of time here, sorry. The point is, after you get it done, give it another squeeze, because the circle should go over where the pin is in the beak. And not for nothing, other than right now on camera when it's failing me, I have yet to have that fix fail me. It's not really a fix. It'd be nice if, I don't know, 3P came up with something to make that lock in more. Minor imperfection for an otherwise fantastic iteration of Swoop. If you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't get it because of that, I don't let that hold you back, because he is quite stellar. Anyway, I babbled on enough. What do you think about this guy? Let me know. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Of course, you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. You can also hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know, of course, when content goes up here on the channel. Please and thank you. But most importantly, through it all, don't forget for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.